It is noon and we are going to get started here. Thank you everybody for joining us on this wonderful Valentine's virtual edition of the Rotary Club of Harrisburg. Morning after the Super Bowl here. If there are any people in our club from Cincinnati or some Bengals fans out there, I really hope that, this, the day of love, can mend your broken heart. That was a tough one. Okay, we're going to roll right into it, starting with our invocation led by Jeff Boswell. Yes.
Go ahead and unmute yourself, Jeff.
There we go. Am I unmuted?
Yes, you are.
It didn't want to do it. Okay, very good. Well, happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Nice to see you virtually, if not in person. So please join with me in this prayer. O God of every nation, of every race and land, redeem the whole creation with your almighty hand. Where hate and fear divide us, and bitter threats are hurled, in love and mercy guide us, and heal our strife-torn world. So today, as Rotarians, may we build goodwill and friendship and spread the love of the world among us all. Amen.
Thank you, Jeff.
You're welcome.
And now please join me in our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America,
and to
the republic for which it stands,
one nation,
under God, indivisible,
with
liberty and justice for all.
Okay, and finally here for our opening ceremonies, Adeline will be sharing Bob Geiger's pre-recorded patriotic song.
Oh, beautiful or spacious skies, or amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crowned them with brother and sisterhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof
That was wonderful. I'll tell you, it always amazes me. We have no shortage of very talented musicians in this club. Thank you very much, Bob Geiger, for that beautiful rendition there. We have a great program today. Just a few quick announcements before we get started. First, I want to thank the minute taker, Sam Levine. Thanks for doing that for us today. And a few quick updates. Obviously, we're meeting on Zoom here during the month of February. It is tentatively the plan right now, as long as everything keeps moving the right direction, that we'll be back in person for the March 7th meeting. So keep that date on the calendar. Also, a quick update on the club's strategic planning. Excuse me. We have our second and final strategic planning session the board does coming up on the 21st. So after that date, sometime during the month of March or April, we will be getting the finished product out there to everybody in the club so that everybody can see what we're doing here, what we're planning and focusing on in the coming years. I will now hand it over to Beth Mamet, our esteemed president-elect, so that she can give some local service project updates.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, President Matt, I should say. We have two opportunities for volunteering. The first one is at the food bank on February 28th. That's a Monday from 5 to 7. You just click on the link, email Adeline. Sign up for that on the right hand side. Please sign up. Otherwise, to assemble all the boxes myself. So big echo. Let's see if that helps. Okay. Thanks, Una. The other opportunity is the Ice and Fire Fest on March 5th. There are 1 hour opportunities to volunteer from 11 a.m. until 8 p.m. You can assemble hot cocoa packs. You can hand out hot cocoa packs, and you can push children down the ice slide. I didn't make that up. That's really what it says on the sign-up sheet. And you just sign up for an hour at a time. So this is super easy. And if you ever wanted to push children down an ice slide, this is your time. So that is Saturday, March 5th. And please join me there too. Just you look at Adeline's email, look down the right-hand side, and you click on the link, you click on the date, and the sign-up sheet will appear. Thanks, everyone. See you soon.
Thank you very much, Beth. Two great projects there, the Food Bank and the Ice and Fire Festival. It would be great to have as many Rotarians as possible at those events, lending a hand around the community. So please sign up for those soon here, so we know how many people we're going to have in attendance. So now we have a very special Meet the Member, and in this case, a Meet the Board member. So I am going to hand things over to Sue Ward-Diorio.
Thanks, Matt. I'm going to share my screen. There I am pre-pandemic. Happy Monday, everybody. I'm happy to be on the board, and especially now as we're working on strategic planning, it's really exciting time. So I'm going to be really geeky and show you some things about myself, and promise not to take too long. I always start with my 3 young adult children. My son Slater works for Discovery Channel and he lives in Manhattan. I'm very jealous about that. And my twin girls are juniors in college and they go to the same school, thank goodness. So that helps with logistics. My husband and I are incredibly proud of them, but I was thinking about that and I was like, well, I'm just really happy. They're really nice, kind people and really nice to hang out with. Now that they're all out of the house, I spend a lot more time with my dad, who is 85 years old. And I have a really hard time keeping up with him. He's just a very busy, talented fellow. And I'm also now responsible for taking care of the dog, and I have to walk the dog every day. And my dog Titan is a boxer lab, and he has arthritis, so I have to walk him every day to keep him going. But he's a good boy. My pastime pleasures, I'm a gardener. All my gardens all attract bees. And so that's a morning glory. And there's a little bee right in the middle. I love to read fiction. I'm like to read mystery and historical fiction. I am not much of a nonfiction reader at all. And my favorite thing to do is to go to the state of Maine in the summer and sit on the beach and read, play bocce, and watch my family go swimming in the 50-degree water, which I refuse to go into because it's incredibly cold. But those are fun things that we do. I'm active in my church. I teach high school kids on Sunday mornings, which I love. I love that age group. And for some really weird reason, I'm in charge of crafts for Vacation Bible School in the summer. I'm not crafty at all, but we have a really good time. And for some reason, I'm the one. And so, as many of you know, I work at the Central Pennsylvania Food Bank. I'm the senior development manager there. It's a wonderful organization to work for. It's been a really busy past 2 years, and I'm grateful to Rotary actually for volunteering and all the support we've received. It's a great team of very, very committed people, and we reach 27 counties, as you know. Joe did a presentation recently about that. It is intense work, and so, but we do have fun. That's why I have the picture of me in a pea costume. I try to keep things lively. I've been in the nonprofit community for over 35 years. I started my career in Washington, D.C. and New York and Maine, and now here in Pennsylvania. Finally, I'm just happy to be a Rotarian and chair the Service on a Monday committee. We started with four different Service on a Mondays in the year, and then this year we're going to be doing 8 of them. Anyone who's participated, you know, like it's really fun. It's a great opportunity to talk with other members, and you feel really good at the end of the day. We were just at the YMCA doing a period project, and next month we'll be at the Humane Society. And then this is from the volunteering at the food bank. We do that every other month on a Monday night. And it's a really great group of people, and we have a lot of fun. So that is me.
Round of applause for Sue. Sue, thank you very much for all the time that you dedicate to the club here, particularly as a board member. We are very, very lucky to have Sue on this board. And also, I can't thank Sue enough for stepping up and for all of her work with the Service on a Monday. Leading into last year, that was one of the things that we did some club outreach, and over 75% of our club wanted more hands-on service projects. So we decided to expand the Service on a Monday initiative. And I remember going to Sue and saying, Sue, can you please do 3 times as much work as you did last year? And she stepped up and said, absolutely. So thank you again. So I just want to take a moment here and talk, on a high level, about our club and how important it is to be involved with Rotary International and with other Rotary clubs. It's very easy as Rotarians in a club like the Rotary Club of Harrisburg, one that is so big and so dynamic with so many wonderful Rotarians in it, to say we can do so much in our community, our local community, and in our club, and that's enough. It's easy to stop it there. But I just want to say how important I think it is to remember for a moment that we're a part of something much bigger. We're a part of Rotary International, 1.2 Rotarians worldwide, and there is so much that we can do internationally in our district and by partnering with other clubs. And that's what today's program is going to be about. We have Meg Ramey and Duke Adams from the Harrisburg Keystone Club here. Our own Harrisburg Rotary Foundation has just pledged support for a Yes Liberia project that they are working on called Hop on the Bus. And, again, we're all Rotarians. Rotarians are much better when they work together. So, and we must resist looking inward just at ourselves and what we can do as a club, and be willing to go out and partner and support other great Rotarians. So I'm going to hand it over to Adeline right now, who is also a Harrisburg Keystone member, to introduce Meg and Duke.
Thank you, Matt. So I've known today's speakers for a number of years. In fact, me for the first time exactly 4 years and 1 day ago at Harrisburg Keystone Rotary Club. Duke Adams has been a Rotary member for even longer. He is currently serving as the president of Harrisburg Keystone Rotary, and Meg is serving as the club secretary. Meg's involvement with Rotary started when she was selected as an ambassadorial scholar and represented Rotary while earning her PhD from the University of St. Andrews in Scotland. She also holds a Master's of Divinity from Baylor University. Meg has a passion for education and travel. After 8 years of serving as an associate professor of biblical studies at Messiah University, where she led students on studies abroad in 16 different countries, she transitioned into working in educational travel in the private sector. She is currently the founder and executive director of WorldKind Learning, where she leads group trips and provides other educational resources to individuals, universities, churches, and other organizations. In addition to her Rotary service, Meg also volunteers for Yes Liberia, an organization that provides education to children in Liberia, Africa, serving as a member of their board of directors. Duke's involvement in Rotary started in 2017 when he participated in a group vocational study exchange to Taiwan, where he spent a month learning about Taiwan's implementation of environmental practices. Duke holds a Bachelor of Science degree in biology from Lebanon Valley College and works for the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection, where he develops and enforces environmental legislation. Also a lover of worldwide travel, Duke is a self-proclaimed vagabond who travels the world, far-flung corners of the earth. He is always ready for a new adventure and considers cross-cultural collaborations vital for the future of our planet. After meeting each other at Harrisburg Keystone Rotary, Meg and Duke started their own collaboration and were married in Scotland in 2019. They live in Midtown Harrisburg and enjoy spending time outdoors, kayaking, hiking, biking, and camping together. Let's give it up for Meg Ramey and Duke Adams.
Thank you, Adeline. And I first want to start by saying thank you so much for the support of the club, and build a little bit on what Matt was saying. As we've gotten deeper into this project, we could not have this happening without the full support of this district. It started out as a club project. It's become a district grant project with 4 other partners. But beyond that, we've gotten support from well over 12 to 15 clubs. That's greater than 25% of our district as a whole. So the pulling together is really great. And I've really enjoyed the partnerships and the relationships that are starting to grow out of this. We know Adeline has sent you guys our interactive storybook. If you hadn't had a chance to look at it, please take a look at it later on today. With that, we developed a little bit of a different presentation. You'll have the opportunity to go through the storybook. It's a great story that for the children to understand a little bit more about the struggles that other children have throughout the world for getting their education. But there's also a lot of interactive links for the adults who want to dive deeper into the project. So you can literally get under the hood of this bus project and see what's going on in the details if you click through those links. What we're going to tell you a little bit today is a little bit about how we've come to Rotary, how we've come to Yes Liberia, and why we think this is such a great project. We're going to hop around the world to 5 different countries, 4 different continents, and fill you in on our story. As Adeline noted, I did join Rotary through the Group Vocational Study Exchange. My colleague, Jim Aiello, was a Rotarian with Harrisburg Keystone, encouraged me to be a part of this, and it has literally changed my life. It is one of those things that I felt like I have been given so much through this opportunity that as soon as I got back to Harrisburg from the Taiwan trip, I immediately joined the club. Been very active since then. Here's a picture of me with still with my new member ribbon and Adeline listening intently to my classification speech. And it's just been a wonderful experience. And having been given so much for that, Rotary just keeps giving back to me. And as Adeline noted, she met Meg 4 years and a day ago, and that was actually the first time I got to meet Meg as well. It didn't take long for me to realize what a special thing I had with her, and Rotary is the reason that it's happened. And I'll let her tell you a little bit about her journey. So.
Yeah, I mean, the reason we have a picture of the day we met is because of Adeline. So thanks for that. So we always remember that day and we have a picture with her. So thank you for that. So my journey to Rotary and Hop on the Bus was a little bit different, and it started in South Carolina. That's originally where I'm from. And I was sponsored by a club and then a district in South Carolina to travel to Scotland. This is me at my desk. Gosh, almost 15 years ago, over 15 years ago now. And this is me with my Rotary host parents in Scotland at one of the many events we went to. I enjoyed it so much that I stayed there for 4 years and ended up getting my PhD, and it wouldn't have happened without Rotary. So as Duke has already said, I was gifted by Rotary International. They invested in me and in my education. So when I came back to the US, I was always planning on investing in others' education. So that's what I did. I had a job at Messiah College, now Messiah University. You don't take many pictures when you're teaching is one thing I've noticed, but here's one that they snapped when we were studying at the Falcon together doing a study group. And while I was at Messiah, I actually was invited to be a guest lecturer for a semester at Zamba Theological College in Malawi. And so I took a professional leave of absence. And I went to Malawi for a semester and taught there. And well, I guess I should say that by that point in my life, I was earning a good salary. I could support myself. And so I just took an unpaid leave of absence. I paid for myself and I went down and paid for everything for the semester, because I think you reach a certain point in your life where you have been gifted so much by other people that it's time to, support yourself when you're doing the service. And that's what we're all doing as Rotarians. So I won't ask you to support me, but I will very much ask you to support students like these who it's very hard to gather enough tuition to be able to get an education. And so I first saw that when I was living in Malawi. And then when I came back from Malawi, this was in 2013, 2014, when I was there, I was contacted a few months later by this gentleman. His name is Mr. ZJ Jala, and he is the founder of Yes Liberia. And he actually reached out to me through LinkedIn and said he was looking for board members for this organization, Yes Liberia, that partnered with the YMCA and sent their kids to the YMCA schools. And the YMCA is the oldest nonprofit in Liberia, so a very well-respected organization. We all know the Y, so that's where kids go to school. But this Yes Liberia group, I'd never heard of it before, honestly, and I feel bad to admit this now. I thought it was one of those Nigerian prince scam emails, because I'm like, what is this organization? Who is this guy contacting me to be a board of it on something I've never heard of? But I started doing my research. I looked up the organization. I found out all I could about it, and I agreed to meet him because at that point, Jala lived in Carlisle. So he was local, and we met at the Panera Bread in Camp Hill. I still remember that day, and I peppered him with questions. I grilled him because having just come back from Malawi, it was a good experience. But to be quite honest, I was very jaded because I had seen money go missing at the college. I had seen a lot of corruption that had happened, and I was very skeptical about joining any organization. So I asked him all sorts of questions like, okay, so how are you going to make sure that the students who are applying even exist? Like, what policies do you have in place? How do you know that the money is even getting to the schools and it's not being siphoned off somewhere else? Like I said, I'd seen a lot of corruption when I was there. And so I had a lot of questions for him. And what impressed me were several different things. One, I wasn't going to join the board of some nonprofit in another country that was not led by somebody from the country. I didn't want to, be going to another country and telling them what they needed to do, because I didn't know. I wasn't from there, but I was impressed because Jala was. And so he knew his country, he knew his people, he knew what they needed, and he knew the challenges, the corruption challenges, the financial challenges. And so he had all kinds of systems in place. He had an answer for every question I asked him about the finances. And I was very impressed by him. I was very impressed by his story. Yeah, if you ever get a chance to have him speak at your club, do it, because it is an amazing, impactful story. If there is somebody who is a modern saint, I tell you, this man is. He survived the civil war that Liberia had for several decades, almost became a child soldier. It's an incredible story how he survived that. And then ended up in Monrovia, in the capital, with his sister. They would take turns going to school at different times in the day because one of them had to stay home and bake the donuts. So his sister would make donuts, and then he would take them out in the streets and literally sell the donuts on his head for pennies to earn enough tuition to keep going to school for both of them. And one of the reasons he was even able to do it, even with all that work as a child, trying to get enough money for tuition, because there is no such thing as a free education in Liberia, none. You have to pay for it. You have to raise your own funds. He was able to do it because a Methodist group invested in him and believed in him and did give him a partial scholarship. So as you'll see in a second, I'm going to play you a quick clip from Jala, because I think just hearing him yourself, you'll understand why I agreed to join the board and believed in it. Because he was invested in and he was able to receive an education. And it's a long story. As you know, they had the Civil War and awful things happened in that country for many years. He ended up having to be a refugee, escaped to another country, lived in a refugee camp for quite some time, eventually made it to the US, was able to get a degree at Penn State. So he is now an IT professional who works for Geisinger. He just got moved out to Oklahoma. So he's not local with us anymore, unfortunately. But when he was at university, he started reading stories of kids in other countries, not just Liberia, stories of kids in Rwanda, stories of what was happening in Kenya. And he started paying to support some of those kids, because at first he would say, I was so traumatized, I didn't even want to think about Liberia. I wanted to forget the country. But over time, he thought, I'm supporting these other kids in other countries. Maybe it's time that I think about how I can give back to my own country and the kids there. And so that's part of what encouraged him to start this organization. And at first, he was just paying for a few scholarships for students out of his own pocket as he was washing dishes at the university. So he's trying to pay for his own schooling and pay for other kids in Africa to go to school. And it grew from there. So I'm going to tell you how he founded it. Let him tell you anyway. Hopefully you can hear it. You tell me if it's good.
His vision was to let people know in Liberia, even those outside of Liberia, that when you put your mind to something, doesn't mean you are going to get it, but it means people will be watching and be willing to help you. So I want those kids in Liberia who get up every morning and turn on the candle lights and think that no one's watching them, but every day can go to school. And when they get back from school, they're able to go to the market to sell water on their heads, water bottle, just to pay their tuition. They're able to sell donuts for pennies and have to sell thousands of those to get one semester tuition. I want them to know that there's somebody like them who actually went through that himself and is willing to help. And so this vision is more about creating that sense of responsibility that when you're helped and you get out, you should look back and extend an arm.
Okay. So I agreed to join this organization that stands for Youth Empowerment Service because, as you just heard, we wanted to empower the youth of Liberia to make change within their own community so that they would grow up knowing that service was important and that they served others and they gave back to make change in their own community. So you can see a picture of him with some of the younger kids in the classrooms who are growing up and learning to be servants, for lack of a better term. And they have Giving Tuesday t-shirts on because we also partner with Giving Tuesday. Those of you in the nonprofit world will know that organization well. And it's pretty cool because he's actually on the board of the international organization of Giving Tuesday. He's kind of become a big deal. We're like, oh, it's cool that we even know him and he still talks to us anymore. So he's on the international board of Giving Tuesday, but also on the national board for Liberia's Giving Tuesday organization. And it's pretty cool because while we use it usually to fundraise for nonprofits, they use it to serve. So they actually have a bunch of service projects where they go out in their own community and they spend it as a day of service. And so this was him in 2018 when he went back to check on things and to visit the students there. And he went out and he was doing service with them. So we do require that our students who are on the scholarships, and we provide about 100 scholarships at least every year to kids in Liberia, that they are involved in service, that their parents are also involved in it. And one of the reasons I agreed to join it as well is because it is a completely volunteer-run organization. And so you're in Rotary, you know the benefits and the challenges of being involved in a volunteer-run organization. But I wanted to be a part of something where I knew the money was going straight to the students. So nobody in the States is taking any salary. Everybody on the board, everybody is working for free. There are some people in Liberia, some staff there that we do pay small stipends to, but other than that, completely volunteer run with people from over 18 different countries who have volunteered. So those are some of the many reasons why I joined and was impressed. And when Jal was back on this trip in 2018, he started doing a needs assessment. What else does the community need? What are some of the challenges? And one of the biggest things he identified was the need to get the students to and from school safely. And so we've got another little video clip, it's just a minute and a half of kind of showing you the difference between getting to school in the US and trying to get to school in Liberia. So I'll play that for you too.
In America, school buses reduce traffic, pollution, danger, and school delinquency. According to an American School Bus Council report, close to 500,000 school buses carrying over 25 million students travel America's roads each day. Unfortunately, Africa's roads look much different, and school buses do not exist in many countries. In Liberia, rural children have no choice but to walk up to 19 minutes in order to get to school. In the cities, children must cross dangerous, busy streets without the assistance of crosswalks, signals, or crossing guards. According to a 2016 report, the combination of high vehicular speed, poorly maintained roads, and inadequate footpaths are deadly for children throughout the African continent. In fact, more than 85,000 African children are killed or seriously injured on roads each year. Road traffic injury is the leading cause of death for children over 5 on the continent. In addition, the long walk places children, especially girls, at a higher risk for sexual violence. These facts should concern us all. Just imagine your child experiencing such challenges just to attend school.
So basically, he wanted to walk in the shoes of the kids. And so he literally walked to and from school, home with a different student every day, slept in the homes with them, ate with them. And through doing that and talking to the community, he identified that this was a real challenge, just safety, like he said, especially for girls, the time it was taking out of the student's day, where sometimes families were forced to choose between keeping the kids at home to work and to raise money for the family, or walking to and from school and spending their day at school. So it was a financial challenge for them. And as we said before, just through some very violent and unsafe areas. So we conceived of this project, and the project was going to bring a number of benefits. The safety that we talked about, especially for the girls. It was going to ease the family's financial burdens in having to pay to get them to and from school. Some of them were using public transportation. Most of them were walking. And so just the challenge of the time it was taking out of their day to walk to and from school rather than helping with the family business and earning money. And we're also going to use that time that they're on the bus and make it a learning mobile classroom. So there'll be a DVD player, there will be educational videos, there will be speakers from time to time from the local Rotary Club. The Rotary Club of Syncor is our local club that we're partnering with there. So we've already done a test run of the bus and had the students come, they got breakfast, they had an educational speaker just talking about leadership, service. So we're gonna make it learning on the road. And then of course, we're also going to hire female drivers. So it's hard for women to get jobs there. So this is also a project about female empowerment and to empower their families through employment. So, and as we said before, if you want to know the details about all of these things, because we're just running through it quickly, you click on any of these buttons in the presentation. It will give you a lot more details and links to information. So you can always dive into it to see. So when we started conceiving the project, these are the projected costs for it. It would cost around $57,000 to buy the bus and to ship it there. And then the annual cost of operations is a little over $14,000. And again, click on a button and it'll tell you exactly what we're projecting that we're going to pay: the fuel, the staff, the maintenance to keep it running. And then how is it going to be sustainable? Through revenue generation, because you only have to run the bus at certain hours of the day to get the students to and from school. So during the other hours, we already have some agreements in place with the local universities, with some other organizations like Educate the Future Liberia that does after school care programs to help students studying in preparation for going to university. The local Rotary Club, they want to use it for their Interact programs. A lot of different groups we've already talked to. So we will be using the bus, charging a nominal fee, but enough to keep it running. And so there'll be annual revenue generated. So after we subtract the annual operational costs to keep it running, there's still going to be a net sustainable income. So over time, we will hopefully gather enough to replace the bus when it needs to be replaced. So that's the plan in place. But of course, as you know, with any project like this, there's always something in flux. So we're going to tell you a little bit about those challenges. But before then, I wanted to tell you kind of like how we personally hopped on this bus, because this was right around 2018 when Jala went and started conceiving of the bus. That was exactly 3 years ago. So we had some stuff going on around that time in our lives. So
yeah, as Adeline noted, we did go to Scotland to get married. It was supposed to be our elopement, but as friends and family found out that we were doing this, it quickly became a wedding. And being older, having the things we needed, we really didn't want gifts or need gifts. So that kind of spurred our adoption of this project. And we basically told everybody, if you want to give us something, don't give it to us. Give it to Jala, give it to Yes Liberia, and let's help get this bus. This is a picture of Meg's house parents from Rotary, Alan and Irene, and they have been supportive. They hopped on the bus with us. We can go to the next slide with the billboards. You can see the premier spot here is given to the Rotary Club of St. Andrews. They donated £1,000 to the project, and you can see all the other billboards and all the other notes of all the clubs who have sponsored us along the way.
And I did promise Andy that if your club hopped on the bus with us, I would create his very own billboard. So I would just like to call your attention, Andy, you have a billboard from us.
It's good, isn't it? And with that, let's look at where we started with our goal and where we're at. The goal, as we said, was $57,425. Yes Liberia has raised just about $14,000. We have ourselves and other friends have had private donor matching funds over the last couple of years to do matching funds to get other donations. This has become a district grant for us this year, and we are going for the full maximum of that district grant of $25,000 with 4 other key club partners. And that will be a total of $25,000 here in the next couple of weeks. We're at $22,150. Part of that is when we, but those of you familiar with the district grant, it's a 50% reimbursement. So when we get the funds back from the district, we'll reimburse those clubs that have partnered on the grant, and we'll still have funds left over that above and beyond that, which we're going to roll back into the project. And that's right now where it sits with the 22, that's about $4,400. We expect that to be right around $6,000 when we reach the full $25,000 for that grant. So that really brings us to that magic under $10,000 to finish this project out. And we want to finish that fundraising very optimistically in the next 6 weeks to the end of March, so we can put all the wheels in motion to make this happen. This is a mock-up that Jala did of what some of the exterior labeling could look like on the bus. And let's go to the next one. We'll talk about some of the challenges we're facing. When we started with this, we knew we were kind of in COVID, but no one expected this was going to go where it has. The first concept of how we were going to get a bus was we're going to buy a used bus in the States. We'll fill it with tons and tons of school materials. We'll put it on a ship. We'll send it to Liberia. And as we dove deeper into the investigation process, Jala found a company called West Africa 4x4 out of the United Arab Emirates, and we were going to buy a brand new bus that's built in India, and they're commonly used throughout the continent of Africa. They're built on a Cummins diesel platform. They're pretty much the same kind of buses we have here, just the chassis is built in India, but it's a fantastic bus. The problem now is some of those buses are still available in the United Arab Emirates, but with supply chains and shipping lanes, there's a lot of choices being made to not ship to certain countries and ship to other countries because of profitability. So we could get that new bus in the UAE. However, there's really no way or guarantee of when we could actually get that shipped. Now, I've offered to drive it with Jala across Northern and Western Africa. Meg's not really on board with that idea yet.
I think that was the best idea.
But we have started to explore, go back to the used bus concept here, getting something in the States. Most of you probably know John Bailey at Bailey Coach. I gave him a call, and within 3 or 4 days, he had me in touch with other school bus operators. So we are exploring what could be the best avenues for going back to the original plan of buying the bus here and shipping it there. For the fundraising aspect, the Jala and the board members are really in their last push of trying to get this less than $10,000 taken care of. We're in that challenge as well. We're also looking at kind of flipping our message on its head, because we are so far in the process of, don't help us get the bus. We can buy the bus. Now we need your help to get us over that finish line and get that bus where it needs to be. And if you would go to the next one, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, you want to talk
So basically how you can help, where you're already helping. As you know, you have already donated to this project, and we are so happy that you are a part of it. So if you would like to continue helping us, we got a list of things. One simple, easy thing to do is to retell our story. That interactive storybook, share it with other people on social media, share it with your kids, your grandkids, let them see what it's like to try to get to school in another country. So tell the story. And again, all these are interactive links. So if you click on it, it will take you exactly to where the presentation is, where our bus videos are, where our FAQs are. Connect us with other people. As we said, we had to go back to the drawing board a little bit and are exploring different options of where is the best place to now purchase the bus because of COVID and the supply lanes and the shipping. So if you know other people who are involved with buses and international shipping and think they could be an excellent connection for us and give us advice, connect us with those people. Rotary is all about connections. Rotary means business, right? Let's put that into play right now and connect us with the people you know. If you're looking for some other place to volunteer, I know you guys have plenty to do already, but Yes, Liberia, it's a volunteer-run organization. We always are looking for other volunteers with experience such as yourselves. You can donate personally and directly to this project. We will take individual funds and not just Rotary Club funds. So if you feel led to do that, that would be awesome. We've had people even start their own fundraisers, but if you have too much time on your hands and want to start a fundraiser, that is awesome. We love it. But even if you don't have a lot of time, what you could do immediately is come and join us. Next month, we have our final fundraiser for this project, which is our annual-ish, COVID canceled it, Capital City Cornhole Classic. And so our club has a cornhole tournament over at Appalachian Brewing Company where we meet, and they are excellent partners. We just can't say enough good things about that organization. It is Saturday, March 26th, starting at 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. We are looking both for corporate sponsors, which actually I saw Wendell on this call. He is one of our corporate sponsors. So way to go, Wendell. He will have some advertisement there. I can't remember, he's a board sponsor or bracket sponsor, but we have it at different levels from 150 to 250 to the top premium 500 event sponsor who gets their business on a billboard donated by Andy. So you're talking earlier about inter-club participation. I mean, seriously, your club has been amazing, both as the club itself donating, but individuals in your club donating and helping this to happen. So We're looking for corporate sponsors, and we're also looking for players. So if your club wants to send a team or multiple teams, you can compete for this beautiful prize we just got. Ooh, yes. So we've got a Cornhole Rotary Champion Trophy that you can have and keep for the year, and then come back and defend your title next year. We're going to make it even prettier and classier.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, maybe add some different Rotary buttons, because we know Rotarians love bling. So if you want to come and compete for the bling, come and join us. Even if you don't play cornhole, there is a $10 ticket. There's a spectator ticket. You get a lunch buffet and a drink at ABC, and you get to hang out with, cool Rotarians like yourselves. So, come and hang out with us. And whatever you can do, if it's telling our story, if it's coming and playing cornhole, we just invite you to join us and to join these kids who benefit from everything that you're doing. And you are helping us turn our story of Hop on the Bus into what we hope it becomes, which is Hope on the Bus. So we just wanted to thank you and thank your club so much for participating with us. We are happy to take any questions if there's time. If not, just thank you. That's it.
All right, Meg and Duke, thank you very much. Give them a round of applause. Excellent project, amazing stuff you're doing there, and even more amazing that you've managed to keep this going over a multi-year period where those years have thrown nothing but hurdles at you. So absolutely commend you for that. We do have some time for questions. If Meg and Duke would take some questions, if you would like to either type a question in the chat, I can read it, or you can raise your hand or ask to unmute, and we'll try to get around and get anybody with a question in here.
And I will say that Jala has actually jumped on the call. He had a meeting earlier, but he's now on here. So if you have any questions specifically for Jala, he's here too. So
welcome, Jala. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, guys. I feel welcome. I was enjoying the presentation, of course.
Well, it's great to have you on. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Oh, yeah, we forgot to say that through this whole process, Jala has become a Rotarian. So he was invited to be a member of the Rotary Club in Syncor in Monrovia. So we've got a real good connection with that local club. He's even on their service committee. So yeah, Jala's become a Rotarian because of this project.
Welcome to the ranks. I have one quick question here. What is your, I know you're still raising these funds. When's the expected date where you think, or you're hopeful that this bus could actually end up in Liberia, get to work?
Well, it depends on where we buy it from, honestly. So if we get it in the UAE, we have to wait for the supply chains to open up again to even ship it there. If we get it in the States, it might get there earlier. Jala, do you want to answer that? He has all the details about the different scenarios that could possibly happen at this point.
Yeah, so under normal circumstances, if we purchase this bus from the UAE, it is going to take 8 weeks to get to Liberia. In the United States, believe it or not, longer than purchasing from the UAE, because from the United States, usually the ship stops in several other countries before getting to Liberia. So it's typically 3 months from the United States to Liberia. We have shipped several things from the United States to Liberia in the past, and it's been consistently 3 months. With COVID, I'm not really sure, but I don't see that extending beyond 3 months. What I do understand that the cost of the bus shipment will most likely be higher than what it was prior to COVID.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any other questions for Meg or Duke or Jala?
I see someone, Debbie is asking, how much is tuition for a year for the children? Depends on the school, depends on the stage of education. But Jala, do you want to fill that one and give them all the variations on that too?
Yes, we do sponsor students at the YMCA school primarily. That's our biggest partner in Liberia. Their tuition tends to be much cheaper than other schools, but in some areas, those schools do not extend up to 12th grade. So we're at a point where students are now in 12th grade and even graduating students. So tuition ranges anywhere from $50 per semester to $450 per semester. And that is depending, as Meg said, the school they're going to, the grade they're in, the community they live in.
Do we have any other questions on the Hop on the Bus project here?
Just a quick comment. I heard Meg and Duke talking about their cornhole competition. And I think you guys waited for me to leave Pennsylvania before you started that. You must be intimidated by my cornhole skills. But maybe I may surprise you and return on that day and compete. So we'll see how it goes. I'm thinking about it.
Okay, Debbie also wants to know, how does the tuition compare to the average earnings of people in Liberia?
Oh gosh, that's a really good question, but also a difficult question. Most Liberians live on $2 per day, and the country, believe it or not, is at 80% unemployment rate, and that has been consistent for many years. So women in Liberia are becoming the primary breadwinner by selling on the streets, something I used to do when I was a kid there. And so our tuition payment is critical for these families. It was very easy to use our tuition process to really convince them to give these kids more time to study. The kids are so busy. After school, they run to the farms or to the market, something that I'm very familiar with. We had to tell these parents, just look at a simple math. If we're paying these kids tuition, for the amount we're paying, even if it's $50 for your child, it is going to take you sometimes 3-4 weeks to even be able to sell to get $50. So it's a no-brainer to allow this kid to study, to meet the grade requirement and stay on the scholarship, so that you don't have to pay these tuition going forward. And so we've gotten 98% of these parents sign up to make sure they're giving their kids 2 hours every day to study and do their work. So it's very fantastic there. And this is a really great opportunity for many of these students. This is a funny story, but I do get calls now from Liberia, from some parents laying complaints to me about their own children, right? Like, my child didn't go to school today. They are sick, but I don't think they're too sick. They should be in school. I want to make sure they keep their grades up. Can you talk to them to go to school today? So I'm getting these kind of calls now from parents, which is really amazing. But I think we're doing a great job, and that's because of the support we're getting from folks like you. So thank you.
And this is in a country where a 2016 study by UNICEF put Liberia at the top of countries in the world for least access to education. They said that 62% of children were not receiving a basic education in Liberia, 62%. So we're trying.
I will also put my phone number and email address in the chat room if anyone wants to reach out later on with some direct questions or just talk about Liberia at any given time. I'm open to that. So I'll do that and share my information here.
Okay, thank you very much. Any questions here? Okay, hearing none, just one more virtual round of applause here for Meg and Duke and for Jala for joining us. Thank you for the amazing work you do.
Thanks, everybody.
Really excited as a club and for our foundation to be able to support you in this. And best of luck bringing this one home here. We can't wait to see the finished product.
Thanks so much.
Okay, and thank you to all of the Rotarians who joined us here today. Thanks for coming out for this virtual meeting. We have one more of these. We're not going to meet next week. Our board is going to be in a 4 to 5 hour strategic planning session on that day, but we will be back at it for hopefully our last Zoom meeting on the 28th before returning in person on the 7th. So thank you all again for joining. Look forward to seeing you soon. Have a happy Valentine's Day.